Welcome to Not Boring English. Today's story is Cleopatra Story, and it is made for learners at CEFR level B1, B2. If the text or audio feels fast, remember you can slow down the playback speed in your video player. The Queen Who Chose Her Voice. A hot wind moved across the broad river when Cleopatra first walked along the palace steps of Alexandria. The city smelled of salt, spices, bread, and 1,000 voices speaking in many languages. From the high windows, she could see the long Nile, which fed her people and carried boats like lines on a painting. Even as a young woman, Cleopatra felt a clear plan in her head. She would not be only a queen framed by riches. She wanted to be a leader who used her mind and voice. Cleopatra had grown up in a royal house where the walls told old stories. Her family had ruled for a long time, but the world outside had changed. A new power came from across the sea, Rome. Men from Rome fought each other for more land and more power. Meanwhile, in Alexandria, the people watched and waited. The young queen knew she had to act quickly and cleverly. At first, she met her problems with small steps. She studied other languages and read books about law, science, and history. She listened more than she spoke. When visitors came to the palace, they found a woman who spoke several tongues and who asked sharp questions. Her voice was calm but strong. She learned how to speak in public, how to make a clear plan, and how to read the mood of a room. People began to notice that her power came from her skill, not just from her crown. Then trouble arrived, like a storm. A Roman general named Julius Caesar came to Egypt because of a war far away. Men with armor and weapons walked the streets of Alexandria. The city was not safe. Cleopatra knew she needed a bold move. Instead of meeting Caesar in a loud, noble room, she made a quiet plan. One night, she rolled herself in a carpet and had the carpet carried into the Roman general's house. When the carpet opened, she stood before Caesar, small but certain. The general could not ignore someone who used surprise and courage so well. That meeting changed things. Caesar and Cleopatra spoke for hours about maps, trade, and the future of Egypt. He liked her mind and her way of thinking. People in Alexandria were hopeful. Cleopatra used the new friendship to protect her people and to push for changes that would help trade and learning in her city. She wanted her people to live well and to keep their culture alive. But the world kept turning, and new dangers came. After some years, another Roman leader, Mark Antony, arrived. He loved Rome, he loved power, and he also liked the light in Cleopatra's eyes. Their meeting was different. Where Caesar had been a practical soldier, Antony was loud and emotional. He admired Cleopatra's intelligence and also her way of seeing beauty in small things. They became partners in some ways, and this partnership brought both hope and trouble. While Antony and Cleopatra worked together, some people in Rome felt jealous and afraid. They thought a queen from far away had too much influence over a Roman leader. Rome whispered and then shouted. The whispers grew into a plan to challenge Antony. Soon, a great battle took place on the sea, and the future of two lands seemed to hang on a single moment. The noise of war came like thunder across the water. In the middle of this chaos, Cleopatra acted like she had always done. Calm, careful, decided. She tried to find a way to protect her people. She sent messengers, she spoke in soft meetings, and she gave money and food to those who needed it. She did not run from her problems. Even when the war turned against Antony, she chose to stand by her decisions and to keep her dignity. The final days were quiet in a strange way. The loud ships were gone. Men who once shouted orders sat in small rooms and wrote letters. Cleopatra walked in her gardens and watched the sunset on the Nile. She thought about the books she had read, about the friends she had made, and about the many people who lived in Alexandria. She knew life could end in many ways. She wanted one thing more than anything: to leave a clear memory of what she had done for her people. When the last moment came, Cleopatra made a choice she believed would keep her dignity and her power of story. She did not want others to take away her voice. In the quiet of the palace, she closed the doors and she asked to be remembered, not as a prize taken by others, but as a woman who led with thought and heart. That was the end of her life, but not the end of her story. After she was gone, people still talked about her. Some remembered her as a clever queen who spoke many languages. Others remembered the bold plan with the carpet or the long talks on the ships. Young people in Alexandria told stories about the woman who loved books and built schools. Artists painted her with scrolls and maps. Teachers used her story to talk about courage, wisdom, and choice. The real lesson of Cleopatra's life is not about her riches or her last moments. It is about the choices she made when things became dangerous. She chose to learn, to speak, and to act for her people. She used her mind to protect the city she loved. That idea went beyond one life. Years later, when people learned English or read books from other countries, they often found her name in pages about history and power. She reminded them that being brave is not always loud. Sometimes bravery is calm, clever, and full of care. In the end, Cleopatra's story stayed alive because she taught others by example. She showed that a leader can be both human and strong, that beauty alone is not enough, but a clear mind and a steady voice can change things. If you walk along the Nile in your imagination, you can hear her voice say, "Learn, speak." Protect what you love. That message lives on, and it can guide anyone who wants to lead with thought and kindness. Comprehension. Questions. Now, I will ask a few questions about the story to check your understanding. 1. How did Cleopatra first try to protect and help her people when the Romans arrived? 2. What clever plan did she use to meet Julius Caesar? 3. What is the main lesson or moral of Cleopatra's story in this version? Thank you for listening to Not Boring English and Cleopatra's Story. Please leave a comment with your answer to one of the questions and tell us which part you liked most. And subscribe for more stories like